The topic which we decided to discuss today is relationship. And relationship I would say in that state of isolation, state of unusual proximity. So I invited Irene, Alice, and you, we all coaches. So maybe you could say in the beginning, like few words, literally very few words about yourself. And then we just jump straight into the session and start discussing. Who is going to go first?
Alice.
Okay. All right. Nice. Okay.
Okay. I'm Alice, and I work as a life coach, mostly with people that's going through crisis. And I've been through quite a few crises myself. So my purpose in being involved in the group is just the hope that I can help someone as we go through this crisis.
Well, it seems like you are directly qualified, to address lots of stuff which people are right now going on through. That's very good. I'm very happy you are on the call. And thank you very much for introduction. Irene, what can you say about yourself?
Well, I'm calling in from Italy, and I'm working here as a executive coach, life coach, and I undertook a career as a HR and recruiting manager to a company. And in this moment, we are facing many challenges, many changes, as I did in my life. And one, you could remember maybe, Alex, when I lost my job, and you helped me in that very moment, and I cannot forget. So I'm here because maybe my experiences united with my expertise could be of help of anyone is needed.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. Well, that's very much so. I mean, right now we are experiencing really, lots of unusual, I would say, very unusual circumstances people found themselves. And one of the things which, as today's topic, is the relationship. So before we jump into the discussion, I would say that usually when it comes to coaching session, somehow we're supposed to be sure what the problem is. So in this case, I would like to address first question to both of you, and it's, you will decide maybe in the same order. First Alice and then you, Irene. How do we know the problem exists?
Are you talking about the problem that we're in now?
Yes, I'm talking about, I'm talking about the problem in the relationship. I mean, right now, lots of people are experiencing, quite a stress in relation to like a family relationship or partner to partner relationship, or lots of different types of relationships. And my question is that, how do you think the problem manifests itself? How do we know there is a problem there?
I think for me, sometimes is that we don't talk to each other. Maybe sometime in the relationship, you might see the other person withdrawing. The other person might at some time, what they normally do is just not the same. They might have outbursts of anger, crying, things like that. So I've seen some of that in relationship in my family during this crisis.
Irene, can you add?
Yes, I think that personally we experience arguments more often than usual. We experience anger, frustration sometimes, moments of depression for some of my family, especially my mother, that it's very old. She's 81 years old, and she used to have a working. meeting friend in the shop, and now she can't do, and she's really frustrated and depressed because of this. And sometimes she need to I don't know, scream against us, but we understand. Maybe we understand sometimes we are also stressed because we are all human. So
yeah. Well, totally agree. I mean, in other words, one way or another, people are experiencing and sometimes expressing, sometimes, as Alice said, withdraw, but one way or another, people are experiencing strong emotions. And someone reacts, I don't know, screaming or crying, or some people withdraw. And depending on personality, people go different ways about it, but they do feel strong emotions. And the reason of those emotions is that those unusual circumstances. And that's how, like right now, I have a second question to you. What do you think is the real cause? I mean, if you would analyze the causes for that kind of emotions or that kind of stress in a personal relationship, what do you think are those causes?
I think it's the uncertainty of what's going on. It's the fear. It's the feeling of not being in control, kind of hopelessness. And most people are used to being in control, at least to some point. And now with the virus, you know, someone said, I can look outside and everything looked the same. The sunshine, you can't see anything, but you know, it's like this unseen enemy that's waiting outside, and it create uncertainty and it create fear, and people don't really know how to control that. So sometimes they have those outbursts, or sometimes they do withdraw.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Alice. Irene?
I experienced many other things. Likewise, having not the freedom to go out, meet friends, meet people. The physical distance for us was really something that we felt broken in the beginning. We cannot hug or kiss someone that we love. And there was also this, I can second on what Ellie said, just to not repeat, and this feeling, or what happened to us? Because it happened so, we suddenly were in the space of freedom, and then immediately all changed. I think that the speed of what happened was really something that caused stress, burnout for some people, and traumatic response.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And what I can add to that is that well, people like I'm giving a little bit. I'm trying to see the whole situation from a little bit bigger picture, and usually people are forming some kind of systems. I mean, people operate, people behave, people have certain patterns. Those patterns and behavioral patterns, they create some kind of, maybe it's a false, but nevertheless, feeling of, as Alice said, control or comfort. I mean, I have my coffee in the morning, I go to Starbucks, I sit there, I look around. I mean, and when I do it kind of day after day, I feel that there is a routine. Okay, now maybe I found the right word. There is a behavioral routine, which when I do that, I feel like, yeah, that's me. This is my life. That's what I do. And I have certain level of comfort. And I agree with you, Ren. Suddenly, all routines were completely shattered. They just circumstances change so quickly, And as a result, we are not fitting into the new circumstances with our old routines. And of course, everyone is kind of adjusting and as a result, reacting to the change very differently. So I believe lots of emotions and lots of stress like feelings come from sudden, abrupt change of circumstances, and as a result, our routines and our behaviors. Suddenly we have proximity. Suddenly we cannot really get out of confined space. There are lots of extremely specific things which eventually create unusual stress. All right, totally agree with that. So in terms of, now we talked a little bit that how problem manifests itself and what are, I would say, the potential causes of that. So what do you think? Is there any way how people could more successfully overcome those challenges and find some kind of relief? Maybe not 100% solution, but some kind of relief. Alice, any suggestions, any observation, or kind of in your experience, what do you think, where solution really can be found?
I think maybe it's not a solution, but we have to become really aware. If we can become aware of the emotions that we're having, if we can become aware of them and then maybe confront them. And okay, this is what's happening. Let me examine this. Let me look at it. And sometimes we just have to take a step back. I think if we can take a step back and we can just breathe, because the isolation and what's going on, and it happens so quickly, we're forgetting to breathe. We're walking, we're functioning, but we're not breathing. If we can just remember to just take a deep breath and step back, and sometimes maybe even allow ourselves to have those emotions, because this is not a normal time. This is not what we're used to. If we are aware of them and we know why we're having them, allow ourselves to have them. Don't suppress them, because then I think maybe we're more likely to have those outbursts of anger. If we can maybe find a person that we can talk to, that we can share, because this isolation, sometimes we feel like we're that one person and all around us it's like completely darkness, and we're looking for some kind of light. So I think for me, I just try to remember to just breathe. If I can just breathe, then I can make it through that minute, and then I'll face the next minute.
Okay, wow. Okay, there are a lot of things I wanted to ask you, but yeah, let's listen. Let's first hear the opinion. Irena, can you add something? There are lots of amazing things, Alice just mentioned. But yeah, I just gonna hold my horses kind of, and yeah, let's talk with you first, and then we will discuss.
Okay, I would just to build up on what Alice said and tell the people, not only allow yourself to feel the way you feel, but also don't judge your emotions. Don't judge yourself because you feel this way, because all of us feel this way. And to me, what works is some technique like was heart mat breathe, that I breathe with my heart. I take really 2 or 3 minutes. It don't take a lot. And I connect with myself and I say, okay, what I need now for myself. It could be just 5 minutes in a day that we dedicated to ourselves, and be kind with ourselves. Don't judge what you feel. And as Alice said, don't let the physical distance be an emotional distance. There are people that are willing to listen, and profound listening could seems to be like a love that we give to ourselves, a moment of love that all we need as human being.
Wow. Okay. There are few things which kind of resonate and overlapping. You know, both of you mentioned several things, and with your permission, I would like just to dive a little bit deeper. First of all, Alice, you mentioned aware. I mean, what is that? What is the process of being aware? What does it mean? I would like you, if possible, to how to say, to offer a number of other words which somehow could, you know, connect other people with what does it mean to be aware?
I would think for me, when if I start feeling like maybe I'm going to cry for some reason,
Yeah.
if I start feeling like I'm going to snap, be angry at someone for no reason, maybe I'm just sitting, and all of a sudden I get this feeling of that overwhelms me, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? If I work into that feeling, if I become angry and I go with that anger, and it can escalate to a lots of problems. But if I'm aware of what's going on, okay, this is not normally me. Why is this happening? What am I thinking? And I say, okay, this is time maybe. I'm in one of those moments when I need to breathe. If I can remember that before I react, that's what I'm looking. If I can remember, okay, I need to breathe before I react, then I'm kind of train myself for that. Then I'm more aware when I start having these feelings. Okay, I know what's happening here. Let me examine this before I react.
Okay, perfect. Irene, what is your understanding of being aware? Do you have anything to add with Alice, or maybe you could just, yeah, if you could comment what just Alice described as a process of awareness.
I could describe how awareness show up to me. To me is that emotions, like many other things, are energy, and they have information. And as Alice said, you could ask why I'm feeling like that, or you could ask, what are you telling me in this moment? Because sometimes we don't know what's going on with us, and the emotions are there to say, okay, maybe stop, or maybe sit down, and maybe take a breath. I'm here to let you know that there is this that doesn't work in your life in this very moment. And they are signals, like signals in our body. And this is being aware. And awareness is also, don't create stories around all these feelings, are just information. And don't be afraid. As human, we all feel what these emotions are. And this is about awareness for me.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, both of you. And the only thing I could add from my kind of side is that it does remind me, I don't know, when you do meditate, like when you meditate, the whole idea of meditation, you practically kind of observe your thoughts, or you are noticing your thoughts. And that process of noticing something creates some, I would say, quite unusual sensation and quite unusual effect, because in order for you to notice anything, you're supposed to be not that thing.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot be thought and noticing thought. In order to notice thought, you're supposed to practically step a little bit out of it. Then you can notice it. So it's kind of separation or deeper understanding that I am not the feeling. I mean, the feeling is energy. It flows. It could manifest as anger, as a, I don't know, joy or whatever. But in order for you to notice, you're supposed to be something else. And that's somehow, when you described that the process of awareness, I believe that we're supposed to find some kind of unique center inside ourselves from which we can observe everything, including our emotions. And I totally agree with you, Irene, and with Alice, that we shouldn't really create too many stories. We shouldn't jump into the judgment or any kind of, evaluation. I mean, the ideally would be if you would just look at and noticing. And it's that Alice said, just breathe, meaning you are not in your mind. You are just observing something and not jumping into any kind of conclusion or kind of stories, maybe not even using words, because when you pay attention to your breathing, it's actually pretty much kind of wordless state. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so it seems like maybe, as Alice said, maybe we are not resolving or solving the problem which people in, but what we can, I believe, help is that we could help people to look at it and to deal internally with that situation. So they will find a comfort and they will adapt quicker, and there will be less kind of struggle and stress related to that change. Do you agree, guys?
I agree.
Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect. So in terms of so right now we took the problem and we kind of trying to look at that problem from different angles. So Alice mentioned breathing, just breathe. Irene, you said you do exercise like a heart, breathing with your heart and feeling love. Can I ask you both to elaborate a little bit more? If you would ask you what kind of exercise you would recommend and how exactly people supposed to kind of like almost like instructions. Alice, what would you tell me if I would ask you, could you please teach me how to breathe?
Well, for me, I would first, I think you need to find a quiet place. Find you a quiet place. And for me, I like to close my eyes. And I like to think I'm an internal person. I believe that healing comes from the inside. All our energy, everything we need is already within us. So I try to concentrate on that spot within me. And I do some gratification. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that, and I'm grateful that I am alive. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. And by doing that, it lowers the stress and help get me centered to that point. And then I can feel my breath. Once I get to that point, I can feel my breath. And I just try to take slow breaths, and center myself to that point, that spot within me where I can heal myself. I can pull my energy. And I think we all can do that, you know, and it's like I said, we breathe every day, but we don't just breathe. We don't pull that breath from within us, that positive energy. And to me, that's the way I do it.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome.
So
Awesome.
maybe
Thank you very
someone
much.
could try that and it might work.
Yeah. It shouldn't. I agree. I mean, it's awesome, and I like it. And it's supposed to be simple. I do believe that when we start complicating things, I mean, we kind of diminishing our probability that we will follow through. But it's supposed to be super simple. And I do like that breathing and paying attention to, to kind of to your relaxation. Maybe close your eyes and remembering and be grateful and have some positive feelings. And yeah, it's just a matter of practice. When you you probably will be very quickly in a good state if you kind of almost like a reset button, again and again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Irene, what about your exercise? What would how you would describe it, and what would be the steps?
Well, it's a slower type of breathing that requires between 5 or 6 seconds of breathing, inspiration, and 5 to 6 seconds of expiration, and focus on the heart instead of the lungs, because we usually breathe through the lungs. And because it's unusual for some people, you cannot visualize your heart or a light that enter in your heart, just the easiest way that you can. And then you can allow yourself to be kind, to feel kindness or love or gratitude, the easiest feeling that you can evoke, and breathe this feeling through the heart. This align the entire bodily and mind system, the system, and it's easy in 2 or 3 minutes, kind of your mood change completely. And
Well,
easy,
yeah.
you can
Yes.
do everywhere with your eyes open or closed, depending on how is your attitude, and the easiest way, as you said, Alex, the easiest and simple things are very powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Ren. I do believe that, well, people need to probably try different things, because someone very good with the visualization, then they probably imagine their heart and light entering. Some people may be, I don't know, some people are kinesthetic. I mean, I am, for example, one of those. And for me, just to feel how my shoulders are relaxing, and how when I breathe in and out, I mean, I'm trying to focus on the lower part of my belly. So as a result, I'm kind of deliberately relaxing muscles in the lower part, and then, tense them a little bit and then relax again. So as a result, I'm kind of instantly getting into my body. And for kinesthetic people, that probably would be the easiest. And for people maybe who are auditory, and maybe they could just I don't know, start noticing the sound when they breathe in and out. And for them, maybe it's already would be a really nice poise, like a point of focus. And if you focus on kind of on your presence inside of your body through the image or sound or kinesthetic feeling, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much supposed to ground you, it's kind of bring you certain way to, to be meditative, or bring some elements of mindfulness, or yeah, it's kind of meditation. It's different types of meditations. And from all those types of meditations, I believe the result will be that parasympathetic system like a coming down and finding your ground, and yeah, feel more relaxed, feel more calm, and yeah, a reset button. All right. So what do you think, guys? If people start practicing at least kind of minute here, minute there, what will happen? What people could expect? Why we even bringing that stuff when we are talking about relationship? What do you think? What's your take on it, Alice?
I
You
think
first.
if they start practicing some form, whether it's the form that we described, whether maybe they already have something, I think if they start doing that they just will calm down, and it will give you that minute to say, instead of maybe I have to do this, you can look at it as I choose to do this, but you have to, it goes back to that awareness, being aware. Why am I meditating? I don't have to meditate. I don't have to go within myself. I choose to. And when you're making the choice, I think it kind of empowers you. And I think once you feel a sense of empowerment, you can move forward. So I think that's what they can kind of get out of that,
Yeah. Awesome. I agree 100%. I think it's a very important point not to create one more to do in your checklist of doing, like a to-do list. Yeah. And if people will find themselves feeling better every single time when they do it, and eventually they're supposed to do it because they feel like doing it. I agree with you. And I also notice from my kind of in my case, I know that if I try to, how to say, to set too harsh requirements, for example, I need half an hour for meditation, or I need morning or special place, or I mean, as soon as it become too complicated, I know I am setting myself kind of for troubles. So as a result, I am happy when I do it 1 minute, and when I do it anytime, anywhere, under any circumstances. So something to make it really simple. I mean, 1 minute, you just turn around, just to relax your shoulders, may breathe in and out, and you could do it anytime, anywhere, in any circumstances. And then it become kind of simpler. There are higher chances that people could start practicing it because they are not approaching, those things as a perfectionist, as I have to, and I have special kind of circumstances or time or place or whatever. Great. Irene, what do you think people can expect if they follow those practices?
Well, they can expect many things. And one, as you say, practicing anytime they need, anytime they can, and in any place. They are trained themselves to build new habits that help them to not react, but respond to the situation in more composure and calm way. And they will see themselves increase in terms of kindness, self-love, and love for others. And these will for certainly improve their own relationship with themselves and with others too.
I love it. I love it. Not to react, but to respond. That's very nice. I love that. And not to react in again, what I can add in my understanding is not to react mean just one thing. It's supposed to be a gap between event and your response, supposed to be some space. And that space is kind of our chance to become aware, to notice. And if we practice to have that space every single time, and especially when something disturbing or strong emotions or some kind of some unusual or strong comes, so not to react, but to create a, I don't know, whatever it is, 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, space when you are maybe just breathe and observe what is going on. And I'm sure that people will prevent enormous amount of bad situations, and they reduce their stress. And I mean, that's what I agree. That's what people supposed to, I believe they will expect if they, start implementing and practicing those simple exercises. Okay, guys, thank you very much. We are talking already like around 40 minutes, so it's practically almost like a coaching session. And to wrap up, so what would be kind of your recommendations or last words? What would you like to say, Alice, to people who are watching, our conversation today?
Well, concerning, the isolation and relationships, we have to, if we can accept the fact, become aware of the fact that we can't change the circumstance that we find ourselves in, but we do have the choice of not allowing the circumstance to create a disconnect in our relationships with our family, the people we love. So the circumstances are there, but we control our reaction to the circumstance. And we can all get through this. We just have to take that moment and just breathe. We can breathe through this because we all will come out on the other side.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Alice. Thanks a lot. Irene, your words.
Yes, I can second all what just Alice said and add, take it easy. It's not complicated, having the freedom to choose the way we can respond, and allow yourself to ask for help too.
Well, guys, thanks very much. It was a pleasure having you here, and I do believe that people will find something useful from our conversation. And yeah, I'm looking forward to have you for our next talks. We have lots of stuff to discuss. Thanks a lot, Irena, Alice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.